All right, we're live again for another Wednesday Q&A, and I am back in Fresno. Last week I was in Arizona at a mastermind meeting and doing this whole thing from my hotel room. So as you are coming on, I want a few things to happen here. Show me some likes, even if you're watching this on the replay. Show me some likes. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're watching from. Maybe ask a question, what your biggest challenge is, and of course, share this wherever you can share this. So I'm gonna give a minute for people to come on with questions before I get into anything too crazy. But I definitely, as usual, want to share what I have going on. I am back in the saddle here in Fresno, California. It is a little chilly outside, hence the sweater. And winter, no shave November was not the reason why I'm growing a beard, but I actually like it, so I'm going to continue to do that. We are closing six figures this week. It's been a good week for us, and I have no complaints about that. We're gearing up for 2021 in a good way, and it looks like we can close out the year in a good way, getting ready for Thanksgiving and the holidays and everything else. So the one of the cool things I want to share here is we have the Flip Talk Virtual Summit coming up in the beginning of December, where we're going to tie up this year in a little bow, and we are going to put some rocket fuel in the tank for 2021 and really kick that off. So if you are interested in being a part of that, go to flip.virtualsummit.com and check that out. So what's up, Zach, buddy? The beard, I love the beard is, I like it. I'm going to keep it, I think. Little bit grayer than I want it to be. All right. I have a question here from somebody that's, I think is a good way to kind of start the conversation off. Right here, he says, my real challenge, besides having to put my marketing budget on my credit card, is not having enough time to do business. And basically, he says he has 8 to 10 hours max because of his crazy work schedule. And the question he has for me is, how would I start over again with little money and time, and what would I recommend? And the first thing I would say is, a lot of people think that when you're starting something, that having a lot of time or a lot of money is an advantage, and I would be the first one to argue that it could be a disadvantage. I can tell you that right now because I have money and I have resources, I have time, and I'm starting new ventures, and and they don't always get the same traction they got when I was bootstrapping, right? When I had to really focus my energy and my effort on the success of that operation. For instance, when I got started back in real estate investing, both times I had zero money and I traded time, and I traded effort for momentum in the business. And it really caused me to focus my energy and my efforts on what was truly going to be profit generating, what was truly going to be momentum generating, what was truly going to allow me to have success. I didn't have the the luxury of testing ideas that weren't on the surface, valuable to my effort. And I think that really allowed me to have success. So the first thing I would say from somebody saying, I have limited time, I have limited money, how would I start over? The first thing I would say is get your mind right and understand that your mind is the most important tool you have beyond time and money. And if you have your mind right, if you understand that you can accomplish just about anything with hard work and effort, you are going to be successful, you know, then you're going to have one step further than somebody that's in their head saying, well, I got all these limitations and I'm not going to be able to make it happen. So that's an important, fundamental, um, you know, I guess attribute that you need to have to be successful is stop making excuses about the time and money you don't have and start understanding that, that the goal here is to build momentum. And so if you have 8 to 10 hours a week, you can focus on your real estate business. My advice is first and foremost is to get your mind right and then focus that time and energy for its maximum result. Don't squander it. Don't waste it. Don't make excuses. Most of us will show up for work, but we won't show up for ourselves, right? We'll show up for work and we'll do our job and then we're tired and we come home and we make excuses. I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have opportunity. And then we'll squander the 8 to 10 hours a week that we have to work on our side hustle and build our business. And so you got to make sure that that's not happening. Focused, Effort is very, very important. I have always had more success when I had limited out of the gate. I end up building success anyway, but out of the gate when I've had limited resources because it really causes me to focus. So, when you have money to spend and you can test and chase every shiny object out there, I would say that you're actually less likely to get momentum in your business because you're chasing every crazy idea and you're not focusing your efforts. So, very important, something that I feel needs to be answered there. Then what I would do first is exactly what I did the first time, around, or what I did the second time around. One of two things. Actually, I would do both. The first time around, I got a list of distressed sellers and I went and door knocked. I could afford to door knock because it was just gas. And I would go door knock. And that's how I got deals. The second time around, I networked like a crazy person. I called every bandit sign, I called every Craigslist post, I went to RIAs, and I really, really hounded everybody in my market, and I just pounded the street. So I would do a hybrid of what I did the first time around is I would door knock and I would network. Now, with your couple hours, your 8 to 10 hours a week, um, depending on what time that is in the evening or in the day, that's going to determine on how you would approach those things. So maybe it's in the evening and door knocking may not be prudent, right? Networking is still an option depending on how late that time is. But you can also Google for dollars. You can drive for dollars. You can Google for dollars. You can go to googleingfordollars.com right now and you can find an app um, that will allow you to drive for dollars, successfully track your progress, send out mail, snap pictures, and also Google for dollars. There's a plugin in the app that you can Google for dollars. So again, googlefordollars.com, googlingfordollars.com. You can go to both those, and it'll take you to the same place. And if you got, you're up until midnight Googling for dollars, so be it. That's what it takes to make it happen. I think so many people come into any business and they just think that, oh, I'm just going to roll into success, and they don't understand that it's momentum and it's effort that builds your foundation for success in the business. So, what's up, Thomas? I see you there. Michael, what are some practices in 2021 in real estate? Um, the predictions practices. I can't read today. What are some predictions for 2021 in real estate? I would say I don't have a prediction. My prediction is get your house in order, get whatever education you need, and get ready because there's going to be some tremendous opportunities. The Everything depends on the stimulus packages. You guys have heard me say that 100 times. Everything depends on the stimulus packages they throw out there, and and what those are or aren't going to include and who those are or aren't going to save to what's going to happen in 2021. I think the market's going to be on fire for a little bit in most markets. And there's going to be some opportunities there. But what unfolds from that is something that we're actually going to be covering a lot in the Flip Talk Virtual Summit. We're going to be covering some of the things we're doing to get ready to capitalize on the opportunities that unfold themselves. So again, fliptalkvirtualsummit.com will help that. Beyond that, I think a lot of businesses are going to go under with this second wave of COVID closures across the country, and I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunity in people, needing to get out of a property, and that's going to kind of rear its head, I think, more in the middle of 2021, but everything right now is an educated guess, right? And you getting your marketing in order, getting your house in order, getting your business in order, getting your team in order. Those are all the priorities. Getting those things short up for 2021. So fliptalkvirtualsummit.com, and we're going to be doing that, going over everything that we're doing in our business, from virtual, the stuff we're doing virtual, to the marketing tactics we're using, and systems, processes, tracking who's on our team now, who's not on our team now, and that kind of thing. So it's going to be an amazing 3 days. Um, so yeah, you got questions, hit me with your questions. I'll continue the conversation about starting with no money. So the other thing that this gentleman says is he's going to be putting his marketing budget on his credit cards. I, you know, but to put your initial marketing on your credit card or not, right? That's always been the fundamental question that I think people struggle with. There are so many opportunities out there to get deals, JVing with other people, OPM, other people's marketing. you know, um, networking, door knocking. When I started, I didn't have the ability to put anything on my credit card. And again, I think that having to really focus my effort on the things that we're going to produce um, really allowed me to gain success and gain momentum fairly quickly. One of the things about me, and I think a lot of successful people that allow us to get momentum is I'm stubborn, right? It's like I'm gonna figure something out. So I'm gonna figure out direct mail. I'm gonna figure out door knocking. I'm gonna figure those things out, and I'm not gonna take no for an answer. I know that if I just stay at it, that something's gonna happen. There's a saying that a broken clock is right twice a day, and I think it's important to understand that even if you're not good at what you're doing, if you stick at something long enough, you're gonna stumble into success. But if you spend the time mastering your craft, Monday morning quarterback yourself and being better at it, you're going to find, tremendous success. So, Michael, how long did it take for you to find a contractor to work with you? Um, it depended on a few different factors, and different projects, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it was for me, it takes a little, I would say it takes a little longer. I go through a whole process, a few weeks, usually, of vetting somebody before I decide to work with them because, I wanna make sure I'm working with the right person and they're gonna be a good person on the team. So you can find a contractor right out of the gate. It's just whether or not they're the right person to work with. And so, we have a whole process of the initial phone call, seeing how that goes, a secondary phone call, seeing how that goes, looking at a project or two of theirs, something they're working on, something they finished, and then again having that final conversation to make sure you're in line. And that can take a few days to a few weeks. The way we find contractors, obviously, is we beat the pavement and we do Craigslist, we do driving for contractors, we drive neighborhoods basically, and anytime we're going through a neighborhood and somebody's doing work, we get that information. And we um what else? Parking lots, you name it. So, and we just make a list and we call everybody and we have conversations. So what's up, Matt Smith? I'm back in the office. Yes. I had a great trip. I don't travel again until the middle of December, which I'm happy with. I'm over traveling. I was gone every single week for the last couple weeks, and it was making me nuts. My nose is itching like crazy. What's up, Bruce? It's going good, buddy. Hopefully, it's going good for you. And then Michael again. When it comes to flipping houses, how many at a time do you usually juggle, and what do you suggest for someone to start out? So, if I was being honest, when you're starting, I start with one. We've had as many as 65 properties in inventory. Not all full blown rehabs. I'll be very clear. Some were in the process of we just closed on them, and some are in the process of we were selling them, and we were doing some repair requests, and some were in the middle of full blown renovation. Um, but when you're starting, you should start probably with one, maybe two tops. And when you hire a contractor, you should give the contractor one and let them finish it, evaluate the job, have a conversation, and then maybe give them the second one if everything aligns on that first project. Don't give them more than one on the first time you're working with them because you're just going to run into issues. And you also want to gauge the contractor's ability to handle projects because you got to figure out, what's their cap? Is it two or three at a time? Do you need to stagger them every 2 weeks? Do you need to stagger them every 3 weeks? In order to have a successful team, you got to understand your team's capabilities. And you don't know that with somebody new. And a lot of people will take a good contractor, and the contractor will say yes to anything they ask. And they'll stack the good contractor with three or four projects right out of the gate. And it's just a recipe for failure on the contractor's part and failure on the relationship because now you think the contractor sucks when really you're just a bad leader, didn't identify what their limits were. And yeah, so um, one, and then once you see whether or not they're good, you can start stacking them with more business. So hopefully that helps there. And that was pop that one up. So yeah, anyway, usually the questions roll in like crazy on this one. Where are your questions today, everybody? Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna tell you. like I said before, I would say what we got going on. If you're not part of the Inner Circle Elite Mastermind community and you think that you can add value to that group or that group can add value to you, you need to reach out to me either on Facebook Messenger or an email at donflip.com and let's have a conversation. If you're not ready for a mastermind and you think that you need coaching, we are unleashing a beast of a program. And we've actually got a portion of that out already. And if you think that you want to be part of that, again, message me on Instagram. I mean, on Facebook Messenger, Instagram, or email me at don@flipdoc.com. And if you want to be ready for 2021, you need to go to flipdocvirtualsummit.com and get your ticket for that. It's super, super cheap early bird special. I think that's going away here any day. Also, we are having a contest for that. I failed to mention we're having a contest for the FlipDoc Virtual Summit on Instagram and Facebook. So make sure you're following me at the Real Don Costa and on Instagram, and then check out what we got going on Facebook as well. And we're gonna have a contest. I think that launch today or tomorrow. Keep an eye out for it, and it gives you an opportunity to win a VIP ticket. So, do I ever pull equity from my investment properties? Um, the answer is sometimes, Matt. Sometimes I do, and and it just depends on the situation. I don't need money usually, so I don't typically tackle anything like that unless it makes really good business sense. But it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. It depends on what you're going to use it for. I wouldn't pull the money from investment properties to do marketing or to do maybe not even to buy other properties per se, unless they were investments like other rentals or I was making an investment into a project that had a great return. Um, it's always good to have a line of credit on a property so that you have that capital available as well, and in case you need it, and just leave it there if you don't need it. But that's kind of how I operate. Bruce, I would like to learn more about wholesaling properties with low equity, 30% and above. Okay, so specifically, what's your question? I can ramble. The best way that we found, the two best ways that we found to wholesale properties with low equity are to sell to hedge funds, number one, or to sell to landlord buyers. Ultimately, in any market, that tends to be successful with low equity properties. The caveat to that is right now in the market we're at, where there's appreciation and you have a whole slew of markets where pricing is going up. We're finding that even rehab buyers are being a little more aggressive in buying properties that have what we consider low equity because they feel like by the time they get them to rehab, the market's going to go up. So right now in this particular market, I would be looking for buyers that have more risk tolerance and are taking a swing at things a little bit more aggressively. And then I would search for landlord buyers in your market and potential hedge fund buyers in your market. So landlord, hedge fund are usually the two aggressive ones in any situation. So that is really at the end of the day, um, the answer is just finding. You don't want to list with 2,000 buyers on it, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm a firm believer that you don't need a 7,000 buyer or 5,000 buyer buyers list because you're only going to have a core group of people that buy day in and day out. But you do need to always be expanding your list with quality buyers and that have different buying criteria because you're going to find a few things. One is your great buyers sometimes they'll get busy and they'll start buying less or buying more conservatively, or and two, you're going to find buyers that have different appetites for different types of properties and different different equity spreads. And so at the end of the day, I would continue to find buyers. This one in particular we had where my dispo guy couldn't get a buyer that was going to give us more than $5,000, and my property manager actually met somebody that was looking for rentals, and I reached out to that person on that same property. We made $28,000 assignment fee, and so but the buyer pool we had at the time only would give us five, so we ended up making 28 because we found another buyer. So really, it's not resting on your laurels and and assuming that your good buyers are good buyers. It's always looking for more good buyers. And when I say find more buyers, I personally mean more quality buyers. Um, and that are more aggressive, but or have a different appetite. So hopefully that helps. Maria Smith, hello, what's going on? How are you? Okay, people, hit me with your questions. Hit me with your best shots. I got all the time in the world here. I got another 20 minutes if I can stay here and stare at the screen. What else are we doing? I've hired a few new people. I have a second acquisitions person who got her first deal about a week and a half after being hired, which I'm very, very happy with. And she's starting to get momentum. I hired another acquisitions person a few months ago who's doing a really good job. She's technically our top producer right now. And I think she'll remain that way for a while. One of the things that I think a lot of people realize when I talk about it, but my team is 60, 70% women, 30, 40% men. For whatever reason, I always lean towards hiring women in my organization, and it works out well for me. Um, I think I think it just depends on where you're at culturally, but the women in my office are always, especially in the sales side, they don't seem as overly hungry as some of the sales reps that are men that I've had or other organizations have had, but their production's always right in there, and the approach seems to be different. So I think it's really cool. Who should we know in the business? Well, you should know me. No, that's a loaded question. So what do you mean? Like in the industry as a whole? Either you should know everybody you can that's doing this business. You should be part of a mastermind community or something like that, so that you can just be in the room with people that are thinking the same way you think and fighting the same battle you fight. In the industry as in your market, then you need to know who the players are. You need to know who is going to be somebody that's going to be on your team and you're going to be able to work with. And you need to know who is not on your team. And there's going to always be competition. I think it's important to understand that, as from a perspective of a business owner, you need to know who's going to be an asset, who's going to be an issue, and that's very important in your market. I think that you should know your title companies. I think you should know your title company customer service reps. I think that they bring tremendous value to your business. Things are always evolving and changing. For instance, we worked with two different title companies here in town. Both of our title reps were great. COVID hits and there's some production issues. Things are moving slower than usual. One of the branches for one of the title companies closes, and our favorite title officer from that company moved over to this other company with our other favorite title officer. And now they're a team, and so that change has created a lot of opportunity for us to move even faster in our deals and and now we're just working with one company, but we don't want to keep all our eggs in one basket, right? So we've initiated a relationship with a second title company again, and so that we can always be covered and make sure that we have a place to kind of like roll over to if the first one gets busy and that kind of thing. So it's important to know and have as many relationships as you can with people in the industry, whether it's locally or nationally, so that you can really effectively grow your business successfully with the right partnerships. So hope that helps, buddy. All right. So contest, the Flip Talk Virtual Summit contest on Instagram at the Real Don Costa. Make sure you're following me there so you see that and you can be part of that. You get a ticket for that. 3 amazing days of us just unfolding our business, what is working, what is not working right now, how we're going to tackle 2021 and and all that good stuff. So we have a few good tactics that we're using in our business right now that generating us great revenue. Like I said, this week is a 6-figure week for me. Um, and all because of some of the new strategies we're using, out with the old and then with the new. So make sure you're not missing that. Go to Flip Talk Virtual Summit right now, fliptalkvirtualsummit.com, and buy your ticket. Or and I would say and go follow me at Flip Talk at the Real Don Costa, and that way you can possibly win that contest as well. So all right, everybody. I see a handful of people on here. I know you have more questions. You're welcome, Matt. Is the next summit different from the first one? 100% different. The first one was geared towards newer investors. This one's geared towards, and building some foundations for 2021. So whether you're new or you have a functional business, I think you'll get value from this. Some things are going to be a little high level, but most stuff's going to be kind of middle. And I think it's going to be great. It's going to be a great event. So we're tying a bow into 2020, and we're going to be leapfrogging in 2021. And we're going to be sharing a lot of the tactics we're using to do that with the community. So, and let's see. Questions. What are your thoughts about putting your marketing on your credit card if you don't have any money? I want to hear from the group. I don't know that. Like I said, I think that's a disadvantage, but I want to hear how many people have done that, whether you're watching the replay or not. Just comment in here as to whether or not you've done that. And let's see what we get. Okay, well, I don't see a whole lot of hungry questions here, so it is amazing, Matt. And so, what I'm probably going to do, since today is not full of questions like it has been the last couple of weeks, is I'm going to take an early day here in about 4 minutes and call it a day. So I'll ramble for about 4 more minutes till I see more questions. I wouldn't put mine on a credit card, says Matt. I agree with you. Do you believe in driving for dollars? Says Harry. I do. I think driving for dollars is a great look. Any effort that you make to identify the potential sellers out there that somebody else may or may not be doing, I think is definitely an advantage. Um, we get deals driving for dollars for years. I got deals from door knocking. So I think driving for dollars is a great avenue. Googling for dollars is a new trick where you can actually go up and down the streets, and there is a great product out there that has a plug-in to Google for dollars and track everything and skip information right there on their site. If you go to googlefordollars.com, I believe you get some free deal credits and different things like that. I know there's an incentive for signing up and trying them out for a short period of time, and I would definitely check that out. So. Let's see, Matt. Love all the info you give out. Appreciate it, buddy. I'm amazed at how many more people are scared to grill me. Just I'm here, I'm giving it away. Um, so, but that's okay. Um, so yeah, I firmly believe that driving for dollars is still a great way. We do it in our organization. I will drive through neighborhoods as I'm going home or coming from the office or I'm out somewhere, and I'll just pass addresses on to my team, and then they throw them into the system and work those addresses. They're responsible for driving for dollars as well, and yeah, I believe in it. Everything that helps you gain momentum is important. So, all right, so no, we don't have a lot of questions here. I'm going to call it a day and just remind you, mastermind community, Flip Talk, Master Inner Circle Elite. Do I market the condos? I try to avoid condos, Matt, as much as humanly possible because I don't like dealing with associations. But we do buy them from time to time, and I have bought them. Most of the time, the I can't even think of the association fee, but that's not what it's called. Um, is cost prohibitive in some of the condos in our area. It'll be like $250 a month on a condo that's worth like 70 grand. It's dumb. You buy it as a rental and you can't get enough rent to pay for what you want to make on the condo and pay the fee. So that makes it cost prohibitive, but we do flip them from time to time. So Harry, how do you get connected to investors if you have no capital of your own? Fantastic question. So I'm assuming you're talking about private money lenders in that question. And um, there are a HOA. Perfect, Matt. Thanks. Um, I'm assuming you're talking about private money lenders, Harry, and you need to talk to everybody. I mean, the simple answer is you talk to everybody. You need to be talking to your title rep about anybody who's lending money who may be looking for more people to lend money to. You need to talk to the agents you work with. You need to talk to friends and family. You need to talk to People need to know what you're doing, and that's really what it comes down to. I think people knew what I was doing. Like we had somebody that was our preferred lender that we were working with when we were really heavily flipping properties. We still work with them, now, and they actually turned us on to somebody that was a private money lender. I picked up my son from a play date and handed them a card and said they need help with the renovation on the home that they were doing. You give me a call. I flip houses, and a few months later, her brother calls me, and they ended up being a lender. So, letting everybody know what you're doing, I think, is very important, and then understand that it doesn't always happen overnight. That it takes some time to build relationships, takes some time to build momentum, and that's important. There isn't necessarily a secret. Well, I guess there's a few secrets finding primary lenders, but there isn't a real secret. Go to IRA conventions or meetings when COVID's over, IRA meetings, and just make that small talk with people. When people ask you what you do, don't just tell them you're a real estate investor. Tell them that you are, somebody who, helps people place their money in high end projects that give great returns or something like that. You know, um, change the way you explain what you do. Change your elevator pitch. There's a lot of ways to go about it, and just to understand that there isn't like a situation where somebody is just going to go, "Here's my money," take it. You got to build the relationship. You got to ask questions. You got to spend time investing into the opportunity of raising private money. So, and there's a few more things that we'll dive into in the Flip Talk Virtual Summit, and answer some of those questions a little deeper. But that's the high level overview. So, what's the best book that I have read? Um, there are a lot of them. Think and Grow Rich was one of them, obviously, old but true. Rich Dad Poor Dad was a good one. The one that I always stays true to my heart is How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's really, for I mentioned this before, but I was a rough kid. I had a rough childhood. I've had multiple stepdads, and I had an issue getting along with people for a minute. And I had a principal give me How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I don't think she realized when she gave that to me how that was going to impact my life in ways that wasn't necessarily intended. I think she was just trying to teach me how to get along, right? Because I had a big old chip on my shoulder, and fundamentally, it really shapes even who I am as a business person in a lot of ways. The principles in it, and I don't necessarily say that I practice them all, because it just who I am as a person and the introvert that I fight all the time. But it shaped me in a lot of ways, and it's a dated book, but I just feel that in a lot of ways, it's still relevant to today. Think and Grow Rich obviously spun off of reading that one, and then you can go from there. Never Split the Difference is a great one when it comes to books. And I'll tell you all right now, I'm not a reader. I'm an Audible guy. I listen to Audible constantly um, when I have the opportunity. So and I listen to these books. Never Split the Difference. You Can't Hurt Me. Um, you name it. I'm trying to go through here. I'm listening to Limitless right now when I have opportunity to do so. I think just books in general. I mean, even Jack Welch wrote a book. What was it called? Anyway, I can't remember the name of the book off the top of my head. There's a lot of books that I've read a lot of books from corporate leaders. Listened to a lot of books from corporate readers. I used to live, have cell phone stores and live in Las Vegas, California, and my girlfriend was still here in Fresno, and I would drive back and forth between Fresno and Las Vegas. It would be a 6 hour run, and I would listen to books all the way there and all the way back. And listening to some corporate titans, their biographies or books that they wrote about business, really had an impact as well. The perspective of a leader, I think, is important to gain, not just practical, um, fundamental, tactics, but sometimes just perspective and mindset of a leader, I think, is important as well. Yeah, okay, you've never read that. I'll have to check it out. I've been looking for at the innovation stack just about building businesses. Knock it out. It's not something that I have read, but I would knock it out. Um, I have. I mean, go down because let's just do this. I have in my Audible right now. My wife's books are in there too, but So my library, Limitless is the one I'm listening to. Ready Aim Fire is next on my list. Sandal rules are there. Never Eat Alone. Multipliers revised. Oops, I don't want to play that. Basically, let's see here. The subtle art of not giving a F is a good one. I've actually listened to that a couple times. Crucial Conversations. Unf Yourself is a great one. Extreme Ownership. Stop Doing That. SHIT is a good one. Do the Work is a great one. Ask Gary V. Man, I just go on and on. I guess gives you an idea of where my mindset is. Blue Ocean Strategy. Man, this list is on and on. Can't Hurt Me. Anyway, so Rocket Fuel, Traction are good ones. I'll be honest, Traction is hard to get through. So Profit First. There are a lot of great books that I have either listened to or I'm listening to. So yeah. All right, everybody. This one is in the books, I think, for today. So fliptalkvirtualsummit.com. Check it out. Make sure there's a post in here about the contest. You can always check out the comments here. There's a post in here about the contest to try to win a seat to that. But it's VIP is $57 right now for early bird. It's going to go up. It's going to double here in a day or two. But that you get the recordings and everything else with that. 3 days, no hotel, no airfare. You can't beat that. So only a fool wouldn't do it. And I know nobody on here is a fool, so go do it. And then, of course, if you want to be, look, we're opening the door to the Inner Circle Elite Mastermind. We are going to be in Florida at the end of the month and at the end of January, I should say. And we are renting a large Airbnb, and we're going to have food brought in, and we're going to mastermind. We're going to hang out, and we're have a good time. So, email me at donaldfliptalk.com if you're interested in that, or any of our other coaching programs, or check us out at beinthisroom.com for that. So, and then of course, the Ready Build Scale coaching program is in pre-launch right now, and we're always looking for great people that we can just pour into there. So, we got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you for being here today. Check out what I have going on. Next week is the day before Thanksgiving, so I will not probably be here. I'm not planning on it, but I may impromptu. So next week we probably won't be doing this. But other than that, you folks have a wonderful day, and until I talk to you again, see you soon.